Hey, how we doing, everybody? Matt Moda here with OddsJam, here to give you my favorite NBA player props for today. So the season started off incredibly hot with these player props. Has kind of been hit or miss since. I had a play yesterday that I absolutely loved. De'Aaron Fox over points. He had hit it in 70% of his games. The Warriors had given up the most points in the entire NBA. He ends with like 22 or 23. No dice there. That's how it goes with sports betting, especially with a prop like player props that are inherently higher variance because you're betting on an individual player as opposed to a team. So you can have higher highs, you can have lower lows. Kind of been hit or miss, hasn't been horrible, certainly hasn't been good. Hoping I can get myself on a hot streak. I think at one point I had a 9-1 or 7-1 or 9-3 run. It had been going really well, but regardless, hot streak starts today. I hopped on OddsJam, did some research, looked for my favorite player props for today, and let's get into it. The first one that I'm going to lock in here is this Jason Tatum under 4.5 assists plus 130 at bet365. So I'm going to go ahead and lock this one in. I'm just going to put a half of a unit on it, $50 on this Jason Tatum play. Let me add this one to my bet tracker real quick. Click save, and now we can chat about it. So as I mentioned, it's positive expected value. OddsJam, the perfect line, calculates this to be at about plus 127. This number comes from all of the different sharp sports books that OddsJam has back tested and calculated which sports books do the best job, and then just remove the VIG from those sports books using a weighted average. So these numbers you see here, it's not just some magical fairy tale number that OddsJam comes up with randomly. It's from the sharpest sports books in the world. So basically we let, hey, you guys do the best job at setting the market. We're going to let you do that, and then we're going to see if we can find examples where we can get more favorable odds elsewhere, which is exactly what we have here, this plus 130 play on Bet365. So that's kind of the math of how it's positive expected value. Of course, there's more to it than just seeing that. And one of the things that I like to do, I do this every time I place a bet, is if you just click into a play, it pulls up where every sportsbook prices this market at. So the over under 4.5 assists. And look at where all the sports books price the under. So Bet365 has it at plus 130. Look at the rest of the book. Now, rest of the books, excuse me. Now, DraftKings does have it closer at plus 125. That's the only one. Caesars is the next closest at plus 108, 22 cents lower than what we got it at plus 130. Pinnacle, minus 102. Fox Bet, plus 100. Bet Rivers, plus 104. Caesars, I already mentioned. FanDuel plus 104 and PointsBet plus 100. All of these sportsbooks have it as roughly even money based on what they're pricing it, except for Bet365, and then of course, except for DraftKings. DraftKings is the only one that's closer. So all in all, these sportsbooks have the Jason Tatum under assist as a more likely outcome than the implied odds we were getting at for plus 130, which means it's a good bet. I also looked into this one a little bit. Now Tatum's obviously having an awesome year. His point total over under is like 30.5. The Thunder give up some of the most points in the entire NBA. I forget exactly, but they're one of the worst defenses in the NBA. Tatum will probably score a ton, which means he probably won't have to pass a ton. I think his point total will probably go over. There's no value on it, so it's not an official play. But if you want to do a Jason Tatum SGP, take his over points, take his under assists, I think that's good. And I looked into it. His projections have him like just daily fantasy projections have him closer to like 3 assists. So he could even get over that amount and still go under what we got him at. And we're getting it for plus 130 odds. So all in all, pretty good play here. First one, Jason Tatum under 4.5 assists. The next one that I'm going to lock in here is Reggie Jackson over 1.5 made threes. So this is at minus 120 at Bet Rivers. You can also get it on Barstool. Actually, the odds changed a little bit. It's even more in my favor. It's minus 118 now. So I'm going to put 3/4 of a unit on this one, which is just $75 on Reggie Jackson over 1.5 made threes. So it's actually minus 118, which is even better. But again, look across the board and where all the sportsbooks price it. Pinnacle, minus 146. Bet Online, very sharp sportsbook, minus 141. DraftKings, minus 145. Caesars, minus 154. We see some of them have it in the minus 130s, like PointsBet and FanDuel. Still, that's closer to the Pinnacle line, to the Bet Online line, than it is to the line we are betting it at, especially now that we're getting it at minus 118. So I like this one a lot. The Rockets play at one of the fastest paces In the NBA, they give up a ton of threes because their defense isn't that good. They're not that good at being structured. They leave open shooters all the time. So Reggie Jackson has kind of been hit or miss in terms of going over this amount. It's like he seems to go over every other game, basically. I think he's gone 3 of his last 5. He's gone over this amount. So minus 118 odds aren't ideal, but I still really like this one. So this is going to be my second and final NBA player prop for today. Let me just give this a refresh. Make sure nothing else popped up, and nothing did. So these are going to be my 2 NBA player props for today. Jason Tatum under 4.5 assists, Reggie Jackson over 1.5 made threes, and that's all I got for you guys. So I do appreciate everybody watching, and have a good one.